The thing about grief is that it comes in different forms, and I don't know how much. I guess I'm comfortable enough sharing it, but we lose in so many different ways. In my way, in the way I've been suffering from grief and going through depression is very different because it has to do with my vocation. When I was in the monastery, it was so different than it is out here. Out here, you have to hustle and bustle and be a busybody and keep up with all that's going on, and it's so different than a life of prayer and work of silence. Here, people are very loud, very, very engaged with one another, very much like doing 3 jobs in 24 hours, and it's very counter-cultural when it comes to being in a life of prayer for even 7 months. Even I was in a monastery, for heaven's sake. It was silent, it was peaceful, it was prayerful, it was contemplative, and peaceful, like this tranquility that you can only get when you are praying, when you are in union with God. And being out here, I didn't even know this would happen. I didn't even know that our Lord would allow me to feel this disconnect and even a little form of depression. I think I'm in the wrong lane. But it's so vital that you take care of yourself no matter what situation you came out of. And as for me, I was in a different lifestyle altogether. Being sent out here, coming out here, I didn't even know that I was going to suffer from loneliness and depression, and I didn't even know I was suffering from it. But I just want to throw that out there because, like, people who are in the religious life for even no matter how much, I don't even know if there's an awareness of this, but I think it's important to mention because people who were in the monastery for a certain amount of time and then leave, getting into business, getting into the hustle bustle of society and working all day and like failing at it or trying to succeed, it's very different, and it can send a shockwave of I guess trauma to the brain, because out here it's so loud, it's so noisy, and I'm not weeping and crying about it. I sort of was when I was going through a depression stage, but I was like wondering what in the world is happening. And I think that people who leave a monastery or a life of contemplation can fall into depression just as bad as people who are like suffering from different kind of thoughts that are not necessarily healthy. And I don't know what your situation is, but I feel our Lord just telling us that He loves us, and oh my gosh, it is just so bright here. But I have to be careful. I'm actually, this car is slowing down for some reason. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's what's going on. And my thanks be to God, I was actually crying in church, and this lady approached my mother. I was with my mom, and we were going to have a meeting, and I just felt like I didn't know what was going on. I was going into a full-blown depression mode, and I don't usually do that. I'm usually a very optimistic person, and I was like, Lord, what is going on? You just don't know. And I was full-blown, like, in weep mode, like sobbing, like I had just lost my husband or something. In a way, I sort of did. In a way, it was kind of like I divorced myself from the monastery, and I don't regret going to the monastery. I loved it, and I don't regret being out here, but it does something to your head. It does something to your mentality and your emotions. And a lot of times it manifests when the time is right, when there are people who actually know about you, your history. And it didn't manifest until I came back to Las Vegas, because I guess it's because I started my journey in Las Vegas with a 23 years of epilepsy and living under my parents' roof. Then I go to Wisconsin and get through a little bit of college and just have that little journey of independence, and it was great. I didn't have the capacity to feel that depression because I couldn't afford to feel it. I felt a little lonely, like I was looking for a husband, but I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm so depressed after leaving the monastery. No, I didn't feel that. But once you're around your loved ones and people who know about what you've been through throughout your whole life, like, the Lord would allow that vulnerability to come out. And it was just like nothing I expected. It wasn't anything I expected. So yeah. And I need to get into this. Oh, I missed it.